Come on in the room. Come on in the room. And we have breaking news. The Cream City Crossovers Guru, Trey Cross III.
Chris King.
Justin.
Things are going from bad to worse for Milwaukee Bucks, as if a 2-8 start to the season wasn't enough. Milwaukee will now be without Damian Lillard for at least Tuesday's NBA Cup opener against the Toronto Raptors, as a star point guard is in concussion protocol. The team announced Monday. According to Chris Haynes, Lillard received a hit to the head near the end of the third quarter of the loss to the Celtics on Sunday. He did leave the game at the beginning of the fourth, but that was his regular rest period. He returned to finish the game. Ultimately played 36 minutes, scored 14 points on 4 of 15 shooting. Yuck. And on Monday, Lillard experienced headaches and dizziness and was subsequently diagnosed with a concussion. Lillard could be cleared of the protocol as soon as Wednesday against the Pistons. Fellas, this came out left field. I mean, out of nowhere. I'm talking about at the time we're recording this right now, a mere basically 3 hours ago, the injury report came out, and Damian Lillard wasn't even on it. So I mean, this is pretty stunning development, especially when you consider the Bucks are 2-8 right now, and they have a little bit relatively ease of the schedule coming. And you need to win some basketball games. Like, you need to get this thing back at 500 as soon as possible. Now you're gonna have a much harder time doing that without Damian Lillard, at least for one night. So that's shocking and surprising. Number two, this is where I'm taking it. You guys take it wherever you want. I don't want to ruffle feathers, but I'm just saying. Is there a beat reporter anywhere in Milwaukee? Like, I'm just confused as to how nobody knew about this. I'm just saying, like, do we not have people that travel with the team? Is that not a thing? Well, like, you travel with the team, you have zero scoops. Like, I'm just asking, what are we doing? Like, what's the point? Are we not grinding? Are we not grinding hard enough to get some information about what's happening? Where's Chris Haynes don't travel with the team? How he got all this information? Well, I mean, I'm just asking for Bucks fans. Like, that's got to be crazy where, like, you don't have any information about what's going on in your team. National reporters are coming out telling you the guys are going to be missing games. And, yeah, like I said, I don't know what's up with the Milwaukee Beat, man. So I don't know. Maybe the Vegas is not filled. Maybe they need to maybe somebody has to get hired. We need to figure out what's going on. But it's bad that we don't have any scoops locally in Milwaukee. That'd be nice. At least your boy, Gary Wolf, would have made something up that we could think about. But I don't care. I name drop Gary Wolf all the time. He's a loser. But that's what I got, man. Damian Lillard will be out at least on Tuesday. Am I doing too much? I'm sorry. My bad.
Nah, you're good, man. You're good. For me, man, I just think this is tough because you're trying to find that rhythm and trying to find this chemistry with a team that's 2-8 right now. You're having trouble doing it. You got to win versus the Utah Jazz, and we're like, okay, maybe, just maybe we'll be able to find a couple more victories in it, and then you go on 2-game losing streak, back to square one. And then now we get this news that Damian Lillard's out, so now we're forced to kind of throw in Ryan Rollins and have him run the show. And maybe you do throw Giannis at the point guard, which we talked about, but this is – It's unfortunate that we have to deal with this right now, especially and there is some momentum to be had in the NBA Cup. Obviously, it's not the craziest thing in the world, and we don't give a damn if we win it. It would be nice, but like you can find, and at this point in the schedule too, like these bad teams that are coming up, I think you can really create some serious momentum. But now with Dame being out, it's like, all right, here we go. Are we going to be able to beat these bad teams? And if not, then it's just going to be a continuing process with these losing post-game shows. So it's tough for me, but I will say this, getting Ryan Rollins with a bigger role, like forcing him into that, I think that can be good for him in the long term, just because he won't be asked to do that ever throughout this season if Damian Lillard is healthy. So if he's able to get that experience, come off the bench, guard some good guards, and have good defensive guards on him and have the pressure on him to take care of the ball and don't turn the ball over and take good shots, make your shots, then I think we could build him into a bigger piece than he is.
Yeah, man, at this point, we got to look for that rose to come out through the concrete from the way the season sits right now. So really sucks. I feel like Dame's shot, there was a lot of questionable stuff in that fourth quarter that we talked about in the post-game show directly after the game. And maybe that concussion led to it. I mean, I think concussions are something that we've all learned that you take very seriously. So I hope that Dame gets better quickly and he doesn't rush back. If he needs more time, take that time, because we need you for the long haul. This isn't just a 4-game span that we're on right now. We need you for the rest of this stuff and to get this ship righted. So I like the idea of Ryan Rollins getting a little bit more playing time. And then I'm going to look at Mr. Right. This is your opportunity to change it from Mr. Wrong to Mr. Right. No pun intended. You got to come out there and hoop, man. You got to show them why you were signed in this offseason. You said that you could shut down this guy and that guy. We haven't seen you do that. You said you can make those threes. We haven't saw you do that. And then I guess my other question is, are we going to bring Johnson up for the G League? Is that minutes he can eat up? Because we know that Rollins can't play all 48, right?
Yeah, and you look at Rollins, and I mean, there's some things in that Boston game. I thought he did some good things, but teams have clearly gone out to pressure him. You saw Peyton Pritchard as soon as he saw Rollins, like, oh, this, excuse me, fresh meat. But he went right out at him, and try to challenge him to get in the ball up the court. So you are going to see teams do that. They're going to pressure him. They're going to try him until he can prove he can handle the ball at the NBA level and not be deterred, not be shaken. So I do agree. Maybe you do see DeLon Wright. I don't know if you see point guard Giannis come into play. You do want to see Damian Lillard get better, obviously. But, my question here, and I guess my thinking is, from the Bucks perspective, like, it's different when you're in the regular season and everything's going well. Yeah, guys got to play, got to be out, whatever. You're in a hole right now. You're 2-8. 2-8. Tell you, 2-8. 3-8 feels a lot different than 2-9. Like, I mean, you need wins. Like, you hate to say, like, there are in November in the NBA there should not be must wins, but like this 3-game stretch, I believe it's Toronto, Washington. I can't remember who's after that. It's Toronto, Detroit on Wednesday, and I can't remember who's after that. But I mean, it's 3 big wins like that you need. Like you need these wins, and when you're 2-8. Sitting in the holes you got to dig out of. And so we'll have to figure out a way who's going to step up, who's going to be that guy. Could it be Bobby Portis? Could this be a time when Bobby Portis steps up? Because that's the question for me is, who's going to score? You don't have Damian Lillard in the game. Who's going to score? Could it be Brook Lopez hitting threes? Could it be AJ Green coming in? Like, we're going to need some guys that have not produced to produce. Gary Trent Jr. is coming back. I think he'll be available Tuesday night. You need some guys that have not produced so far this year to produce. Hopefully they show up on Tuesday night against the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I think we've got to find some consistency. Maybe it is giving Gary Trent Jr. a game to have the ball in his hands a little bit more than he does when Dame is on the floor, to see the ball go in a little more and get rolling. Like, that's what we need from this team. We need these new additions to start playing like it, because outside of TP, like, I think we've been very underwhelmed with some of the new additions, and finally got some of the young guys in there. So we'll see how that kind of plays out versus some teams that are worse than the Boston Celtics. But I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do against these bad teams, against Detroit and Charlotte and Toronto. But you also don't want to have the Bucks prove themselves right on being a bad team right now. And with Dame being out, I'm not liking it.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for the entire cast to step up. I mean, I don't think the only one guy we can't ask to step on this team any more than what he's done so far this year is Mr. Antetokounmpo. So all those role players you gentlemen mentioned have to play better. I'm not as concerned as what I was the other night. Shout out to that dude J.R. Radcliffe who wrote that article as far as that 2000 to 2001 greatest screw job in the NBA history ever, after Scott Williams was ejected on that bogus stuff. But we ain't got to go all the way back to that and let those 76ers go to the NBA Finals where they beat those Los Angeles Lakers in Game 1. They started 3-9. So that means that's the rainbow. That's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for us, man. So things are looking up for us. We're 2-8. We're not as bad as what they were. So we're going to come out. We're going to do better. And these role players are going to play bigger roles. And like Khris said, man, these teams that are supposed to be mediocre, these Pistons, these Hornets, these Rockets, these Bulls, these Pacers with that big old front runner from Oshkosh Bagosh, let's cook them.
Well, like you said, things aren't as grim as they may seem. The Bucks, I believe, are 3 games out of third place when you get to that level. So the East has not been very good right now, and that's one thing that you look at as a silver lining for the Bucks. You can get the ship righted very quickly. But again, you can also get your ship righted. Always come to us, the Cream City Crossover. We're doing this thing every single night after every game, the post game show. Subscribe, tell a friend, all that stuff about the Cream City Crossover. This has been a Cream City Media Group production for the Guru. Trek out your third.
Chris King.
Justin.
Don't take no wood nickels. Courage.